Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Chase. Nice to be back with you all. Today we will look at S&P 500, we'll look at Bitcoin, and we'll look at Ethereum. Um, we'll get right into it. So the first thing we're looking at here is S&P 500. We know we look at that first because it's typically the driver for crypto markets as well. So if S&P is going down, typically crypto is going down, and vice versa. Okay, first thing to know. Now when we look at ES, what do we see? Well, in my opinion, we saw a strong downtrend here. We're starting on the daily time frame as usual, pretty much usually the best time frame to start on and try to build a bias from. Okay, so we had a strong downtrend, right? Then we have a consolidation area in here, but as we bounce off the local low here, put in another low, we sweep it. Okay, in my opinion, this sweep is somewhat significant, because it meant that we most likely should not be revisiting down here, this area, until we're probably going lower, right? This is the sweep for, okay, people buy here, people buy here, people buy here. They put their stops below these lows, right? We know how liquidity works. They put their stop below the low, boom, they get stopped out, and that's when the ride begins, okay? That's when the move begins. So always remember, don't be putting your stops at obvious areas of liquidity when we see all these obvious lows. Okay, that's why when we go over to Bitcoin later and we're on the daily and we see all these obvious highs here, I wouldn't have my stops above there either. I think this is an area that we will most likely be visiting. Okay, so if we mark that out, just move it around quickly. I would like to see us push up and trade into here, maybe even into red box, but probably not. Probably just more above here. We'll get more into that later, though. Let's get back to ES and take a sip of water. So we had this consolidation in here, right? And then we push above the consolidation. Okay, we can see here, we had resistance. We had resistance here as well, and then we had resistance here as well, and then we push above. Right. So now we have consolidation here that led us up even higher. What happens again before we move up? Well, you guys should be able to spot it. Before we move up, what do? We take liquidity. Okay, so we have a low. People put their stops below the low, thinking this is the big breakout. Boom, they're all buying here. They get stopped out, and we go up. Okay, so with that thought process, and with this thought process, I don't feel like we should be venturing back into here, honestly. Is it possible? I suppose it could be. If we did push back into here and flip this into resistance, which I would not want to see, right? My bias at the moment and my plan at the moment is to trade back towards this area right here, okay? The reason is, I think it's mostly obvious. We had an uptrend, right? We had resistance flipped into support, support, support. Okay, consolidation in here, right? Consolidation in here, and then origin of the move up. We come back down, we tested a support again, and then we break down through it on impulse. Now, this candle, what does this candle signify? Well, when we break down, in my opinion, there were people buying this again as support, right? So those people are now underwater. If price does come back up, it should probably be a good short opportunity because those buyers now want to get out, okay? Also, people who didn't get a chance to sell in here because this was a fairly quick and inefficient move will also want to sell. So you'll have the buyers from this candle that are now underwater getting out at break even, and you'll also have fresh sellers from this candle, people who missed the original move trying to get in. Why is it also good? And now we're sort of seeing three levels of confluence in here. We also have liquidity above these highs, okay? So we have buyers that want out. We have people who also want to sell that didn't get a chance to sell. They might have missed it on a quick move. And then we have liquidity above here. And typically, inefficient moves like this do often fill. Okay, we know that. That's typically how they go, right? You could see a big inefficient move here. What does it do? It eventually fills. Okay, so inefficient moves eventually fill. It may just take some time. If I was looking at this, I would say that we should, my sort of trade off of this and how I plan to play it is probably with a SPY call probably play it for, you know, give it at least, maybe it fakes this out, maybe. Another fake, something like that. Give it at least like, okay, so that's 20 days, and then with options, you always want to add at least like a week or two. I would say like a 30-day out option, a 30-day out call probably makes sense for getting back to like 408 on SPY, so there'd be 408 SPY calls. But again, you know, guys, obviously, you know, make sure your risk is managed and whatnot. This is the usual thing, right? This is just what I plan to do. I'll be looking for. It depends how it looks on the open today. Maybe I'll get right in. If there is a trigger opportunity, then I'll definitely look for that. But one way or the other, I do think that this area gets pushed into. Now, if we break down, right, and we flip this area to resistance right here, okay, so we have the low, we have the sweep of the low. If the sweep of this low turns into resistance, that's probably when I cut and I start looking towards this low as my next area of interest to buy towards here, okay? Why that area? Because once again, you had your lows here, you swept your lows, right? So you had your lows, you swept your lows, you take liquidity, you come up, you put in a brand new consolidation right here, right? So now this is your, this is basically your demand level that moved you up. But if we go on the lower time frame, look at how like this low is, right? I don't really see anything in here that screams to me good support, but what I do see is this very obvious low here, and then you have this demand level here that was actually the resistance, right? So you had pushed it down, breakdown, consolidates, pushes it up, strong impulse here. So sweep below this low, right? We see the sweep below there into here, and that would be, again, I'd probably look for a potential SPY call or an ES trade. You know, as I say, Prime XBT has SP500. That's the ticker where you can trade ES. Okay. You know, entry techniques video. Excuse me, I just ate. I'm choking on something. Entry techniques video. If you're unfamiliar with how to try to find an entry, sweep into here. We watch for the reclaim. There'll probably be some type of resistance in here that flips to support. Boom, you get in, and that's how you can play your trade. Okay. Again, go to the specific videos if you want to see more in-depth stuff on that. I'm really just trying to bring more higher time frame ideas in this video because honestly, the past week or two, I haven't found. You know, my plan, right? My plan was to, and you guys all know this. My plan was to go heavy on SPY puts. All I needed was the fucking second push, right? Right there. That's when I was going to go heavy, and I didn't get it. And my plan was to go heavy and literally let it sit for like a month or two. And I was just going to chill. And that was my big trade. Going to be my big end of the year trade. And, you know, I didn't get it. I just didn't get my second push. It's amazing to me that, you know, it all that it did was just a 1 day's push. I mean, I don't understand how many, you know, big players could have got shorts filled in here just on, you know, one or two candles. I was looking for something like this. I mean, I was looking for a push, you know, maybe even a second or a third fake, and then a big dump. You know, get the people thinking we're moving higher, right? But hey, market doesn't care what you want. It just does what it does, and you have to adapt, right? So at this point, though, I would have probably closed those SPY puts at this demand right here, right? So I'm sort of over it. You know, obviously you know, it sucks, right? You know, when you have something completely planned out and you plan to go heavy and, you know, it's going to be, you know, 6 to 10 trades worth of profit or something, and it, you know, you just don't get your perfect setup. It's annoying, but there is also something to be said about overcomplicating things. I think this is a topic I wanted to talk about in this video. Overcomplicating price action and not, you know, slowly moving in when it looks right, right? So let's say I wanted to get 10 of those SPY puts. I should have at least picked up 2 or 3 on the first push. Why didn't I pick up 2 or 3 on the first push? Because I wanted the best price on every single one of them, right? And that's just being greedy, and that's overcomplicating price action. Because if you look at some of my previous tweets, I had drawn exactly what was going to happen from like down here. I said we were going to here, and then I said we were doing that, and then we were dropping. And, you know, I just had too much confidence, I suppose, in my own thoughts about what the market was going to do. And the market didn't give me that. And unfortunately, it caused me to miss such a major move. Okay? But at this point, like I said, I would have closed it. I would have closed basically all the puts in here. So, yeah, I guess, you know, that trade's over, mentally for me at least, and we move on. So, TLDR on S&P 500. We're looking for this to fill, whether it be from here or whether it be from here. Either way, I look at potential calls or longs off of those scenarios. Longs would be based off of, you know, some type of an entry technique, and the calls, you know, like I said, probably 30 days out from depending wherever it plays to. If this was just the Omega top and we're just gonna nuke through, I mean, it's a fucking shame, honestly. I mean, I would have closed anyway, but maybe I would have left 15% or 10% of a moon bag or something. But it would just be a shame to not, you know, get more price action in here, more potentials for a potential short opportunity, and that I'll be definitely watching for a short opportunity too if we get back into red, push into red. Again, you know, I'll have to see how, you know, PA is when I get there. I don't want to overcomplicate it because it's sort of a lesson I just talked about, even though I didn't really get deep into it. But I guess the point of that lesson is just, you know, don't, you know, if you're looking for a triple swing or something, you know, you're not always going to get it, right? So if you're trying to load up, a 10, you know, let's just use for example a 10 Bitcoin position size. And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to wait for the final sweep to get all 10. Well, why not just do 2 here? Why not do 2 here, 2 here, and then you can do 6 here, right? So at least you'll have a 40% of size if it doesn't go exactly how you plan, okay? That's going to be something I'm going to try to implement more on myself as well, is to try to layer in just a bit more. And, you know, I think with this year and how I had, like, my ETH prediction that was so spot on, and you know, there were some moves that I called with just such precision. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying there were moves I called with such precision that I thought I knew exactly what the market was going to do, and it proved me very wrong. Even though it proved me right, it did go in the direction I thought it was going to go. But I thought I would, you know, thinking I'm some type of mastermind or some wizard that knows exactly how many times it's going to sweep and whatnot. I should have just said, hey, look, it's at my fucking level. Short it. It's that simple. It's at the level, short it. Or it's at the level, long it. Don't overcomplicate it. Okay, that's something that I need to learn as well sometimes. Alright, moving into Bitcoin. So, if we look at Bitcoin, I think you have liquidity above here. I think this is a potential area to watch for short. I think you had, you know, your resistance all along here, and it flips to support. We could see support, all this support in here. Not many people, you know, if they did buy in here underwater, right, you didn't really have a chance. No, not many people really had a chance to get out, right? Like, look, it was just a fast dump. So if this did happen to come back up at all, I'm sure people will be looking to get out anywhere in this area. And you probably don't even get that much. In my opinion, you'll probably get a sweep of this. And hey, look, on the first sweep, you'll probably get a good rejection, right? So you don't need 3 sweeps. You don't need none of that. On the first sweep of this, I'll probably look for a short. And it depends on local PA, right? But it'll most likely be a short with targeting something like this, right? Like this support, flips resistance. And then if this pushes back up, right? Say you get something like this. Breaks out of here, flips this to support, runs liquidity, boom, you probably get a retest to like this area right here, something along that nature. So that's what I'll be looking for on Bitcoin. I'm not very interested, though, to be honest, in trading Bitcoin at the moment. I don't think that it's providing any type of opportunities that you can't better get from cleaner price action on ES. This is something that I was dealing with a couple months back as well, and that's when I was really saying, I've just been trading mostly, ES and SPY calls. SP500 on Prime XBT is ticker for ES if you need it. And yeah, just real quick, as always, shout out to Prime XBT for sponsoring these videos. You can see my links at the bottom. Your signups and your deposits keep these videos coming. They're the ones who pay to have me make these videos for you. So if you enjoy the videos and you want them to keep coming, please sign up, make a deposit. You can do whatever you want. Take a trade or two and then take it off. I mean, whatever. But it is helpful. Okay. So yeah, sign up, deposit, very helpful. Keeps these videos coming. Simple as that. Yeah, so Bitcoin, I mean, again, I think, you have liquidity above here, and that's what we watch for a potential short opportunity. Down here, you're getting some type of consolidation, but, it's Bitcoin, man. It might pretend it's going to go up, and then it might come back down and chop more, and then it might finally go up, right? Like, it just doesn't trade that cleanly at the moment. But if we did get a retest of this area, probably a short. Also liquidity, definitely a short. I'll be watching that. All right. ETH is a pretty clean chart in my opinion. You had this consolidation down here, so big consolidation, right? Big consolidation. We push out of the consolidation, and upon pushing out of the consolidation, we create this basically impulse move up right here, right? So resistance, impulse move out, retested as support. This level, this blue box is support until it's no longer support. If we come down to the blue box, I will most likely buy it, okay? Because this is, now I say most likely, right? Because if it does this, or if it does, my point being is if it moves really slow down to it, right? That's the type of stuff you don't like to see, okay? If you have a resistance level, okay, here's like a little lesson, right? If you have a resistance level and you see price just creeping up to the resistance level, what typically happens? Typically rips through, okay? It's the same with support. If we just do this very slow move down, I don't like it nearly as much. If we do something, like this, we chop a little bit, we come back down, boom, quick tap, okay, we like it, all right? But when it comes to slow moves into resistances and supports, slow moves into resistances and supports. Turn my air conditioner off. Sorry for that. The background noise as well. I know some of you guys complain, but it's hot. It is what it is. So slow moves into resistance and support, not a big fan of. They typically break down. I mean, just take a look here, right? Like, you had a support level, right? So support, you come back into it, you come back into it again, you come back into it again. It's like a bouncing ball, right? And eventually it breaks down. So if you have a bouncing ball here, we don't really want it. But if it taps it again, still, it's support until it's not, right? So we buy this, and then when we buy that, in my opinion, we probably look towards this inefficiency right here, okay? So somewhere in here, you have liquidity above here. We tap into here, that would be great. And then we push up. And ETH's been stronger than BTC and it moves better. So maybe it pushes all the way up into here. 1400-ish to 1800-ish would be a strong, cool move to capture. And we'll see if it plays out. But yeah, probably not necessarily... not looking for this like today or tomorrow. Just when it comes, it comes. I don't really have a huge time frame on it, or a specific time frame on it. Sorry. So mostly paying the most attention to ES at the moment. Watching these levels on Bitcoin, watching these levels on ETH. In general, just trying to think about anything I wanted to talk about. Finally fixing my sleep schedule a bit. Just had a busy, last week or two. So I'll definitely be more online during New York Open and stuff. Maybe we get back into some more scalping things. That would be fun. Trying to think about anything else. I think, man, it's been boring lately, right? I mean, I can't be the only one that feels that way. It's just, I mean, crypto Twitter. I mean, I feel like it's just being carried by like just a couple people. Honestly, it's like the homies, like fucking SC and XO, and those guys are like carrying crypto Twitter right now. It feels like. I think I've seen, Maine post some good stuff. CBS, Cred, some of these guys, Pentosh, some of these guys posted some good stuff, but it just feels quiet. It feels slow. It hasn't interested me much lately, which is somewhat odd because it's like also part of my job is to sort of keep building and keep growing as a brand. Obviously, that's these videos are sponsored and that comes from a brand and whatnot. So yeah, I'm getting back into the swing of things, right? Enjoyed my summer. Now I think it's time to step it back up a little bit and get more back into the swing of things. Yeah, and I think every now and then you always need a break, right? I mean, I had such big plans for this SPY put trade, and look, I wasn't going all in or anything like that, right? But I had planned to put 4 or 5% portfolio behind it. Like it would have been a big move for me. And not only that, but it fucked with my thought process because or my plans, right? Because I had planned to just take that big trade and just walk away from the computer for 2 weeks. And sort of like I've done a little bit, like you guys haven't heard from me a lot. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the trade on. That was the plan. The plan was to put that trade on and take a little break. And it was just annoying to, sort of take that break, and it didn't feel, 100% fulfilling. It's like I didn't get the job done before I left, and that sort of left a sour taste in my mouth, and sort of why I've been a little pissy about it. But nonetheless, like I said, the trade would have been over already, so it's time to, sack up, and it is what it is. It's shitty when you pretty much know what something's going to do 95% of the way and just the final 5% doesn't work out. But hey, that's why I said learn from my mistakes, and just if the level's there, fucking short it, and if the level's there, long it, right? Don't overcomplicate things. Yeah, I think that's about it. As always, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. If you can like and retweet the tweet, it's very helpful. If you can like and sub to the YouTube channel, very helpful. And you can support me by signing up and depositing to Prime XBT, extremely helpful as well. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, and have a great week.